Welcome in, everybody, to Fantasy Pros. This is the live stream for Start and Sit Week 12. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. It is me, Joey P. Joe Pisapia. That dapper young man next to me. Oh, my goodness. Who is that guy? Who is that? It's Dan Harris wearing a collared shirt. How did the world flip around on me that he's got no hat, he's got no hood, he's wearing a collared shirt. He looks so handsome today, young man. Dan Harris, thank you for getting dressed up for the pod. I appreciate it.
It's my once-a-year shower. That's what I try to do for these Thanksgiving live streams. I was here last year. I'll be here every year. I love Thanksgiving. Joe, this is actually my favorite holiday, by the way. Like, is it yours? Because I think it's like, I love the food. It's football all day. My wife's family is secretly full of degenerate gamblers. So it's like I get to just sit around with them and talk football the whole time. This is my favorite holiday of all the holidays. What about you?
I like Thanksgiving. I enjoy Thanksgiving. I like the food aspect, the football aspect, but as the person who cooks Thanksgiving, it's also a bit of a, it's a bit more of a thing. And, it's not like I'm just sitting around and someone's stuffing, macaroni and cheese at my mouth while I'm watching the games. And unfortunately, that's not exactly how my day goes. The games are on in the background. I'm in and out between the kitchen and the living room, but I'm a Christmas guy. To me, Thanksgiving is like Christmas Eve. And that's when everything begins. The tree's already up in the Pisapia house.
Oh.
It's not decorated yet, but the tree is up. This is the holiday season. It begins. It's like a whole thing now. It's going to be fun.
Right.
But everybody out there, happy Thanksgiving. I know you got a ton of questions. I know there's a ton of you out there, so we'll just kick things off here. And we'll start with Matthew today. Matthew wants to know, start three, Pittman, Lamb, Gallup, and Mr. Moore. So, Dan Harris, where do you want to go with this one? Do we have clarity yet this morning on CeeDee Lamb? Because I haven't seen anything before we came in.
No, we don't. So obviously he is trending in the right direction. He just, I think at this point needs to be cleared by an independent neurologist, and then he's going to go, which is shocking to me. And I will, monitor. And we just found that Minka Fitzpatrick activated. So we're going to get news as we're here as always. Yeah, assuming that Lamb goes, this is gonna hurt people because Elijah Moore is awesome. But I have to sit Elijah Moore with the change in quarterback downgrade in my, at least right now, to Zach Wilson. You've got to start Lamb, of course, if he plays. You've got to start Gallup because, again, with no Amari Cooper, he's going to get plenty of targets. And as good as Moore is, to me, he's not yet in the Pittman class. So I am starting both those guys, all three of those guys, over Elijah Moore personally.
Bogman and I on the IDP show were talking about the corners last night of the Las Vegas Raiders, and if Lamb plays, it's a great thing for Gallup because Gallup's going to get the number 2 corner, and the number 2 corner there is terrible. So I think he's 121st or something like that on PFF grade or something that we were talking about last night. So I'm agreeing with Dan. I don't trust Zach Wilson.
I do think there's a scenario where they run the crap out of the ball, pardon me, because I do think that it's possible. Again, the Raiders look broken on offense. I'm hoping Deshaun Jackson gets involved more and stretches the field a little bit to get people off Renfro and Waller. But if not, they've put up an average of 14 points in the last 3 games. Like, it could be a running just nonstop. But either way, given the fact that Cooper's out, regardless of Lamb, you have to start Gallup, you have to start Pittman, you have to start Lamb. So I bench Moore there.
Yeah, I would agree. So it's so weird that we're less enthralled with Moore now that we have his number 1 quarterback returning.
True.
Standard pick 2 from Kevin. Smith. I can always do Devonta Smith.
Yep.
Waddle, Claypool, and Judy. Picking 2 here. Well, number 1 for me is definitely Waddle. I mean, he is like the 5th ranked in targets all year for the season. Yep. You can't take that guy out of your lineup, even in the standard league. So I think once you have the volume guy, you want the guy then for a little touchdown upside. And to me, that would be Claypool or Smith. I love Judy, but I don't know. It's a little tougher here in this one. Who do you start? I definitely have Waddle, but who for the rest of the 3 do you pick?
I'm in agreement with you that Waddle is the highest for me. Again, it's against Carolina, which has a strong secondary, but they also play a lot of man coverage. That's going to benefit Waddle a lot. They're all pretty close, though, Joe. Even Waddle, even though he's slightly ahead. In my initial cut, and again, it's a little more detailed right now on a Thursday than it ordinarily would be. I'll do a big sweep on Saturday night. But I do have Claypool slightly higher right now than Judy and Smith, but it is 27 at wide receiver for Claypool, 30 at Judy, 31 for Smith. I haven't projected for pretty close. I think Claypool's got to get involved here. I think the Steelers have a good game offensively here to make up for them being embarrassed in the first game against Cincinnati. So I'm going to go with Claypool slightly here over the other 2.
Yeah, I think Claypool has the most touchdown equity, and that's what you're looking for in the standard league. You try to take that. Now, the rest of your lineup, you just want to play something safe. I think Judy's probably the next safest one because of, again, the target volume. So if you just want a safe floor wide receiver and take yards and you don't care so much about the touchdown, that's different. But the standard, once again, that becomes a very tricky, dicey situation here. Next one here is CeeDee Lamb playing. You'll know when we know. All right,
Yes.
there you go,
If
Jeremy.
it comes across here, I promise you I will let you guys know. For now, this is probably something where you're going to have to take yourself away from Thanksgiving dinner or wherever you eat it. Look at 3 o'clock. We'll find out.
Never had it so good. Happy Thanksgiving, Joey P and Dan the man. Yes, happy Thanksgiving. Never had it so good. Full PPR, one wide receiver, Waddle, Tony, Mike Williams, flexing one RB, Barkley or Wilson Jr. You guys rock. Thanks, man. You rock too. Look, for me, once again, going back to the same thing, especially in the full PPR, it's got to be Waddle. I love that Tony started to see some targets, but who the hell knows what the Giants' offense is going to be, right, Dan? Or are you looking for Mike Williams and the repeat? I don't know, man. It was pretty much another nothing burger for Mike Williams until the end of that game.
I think in PPR, it's Waddle for sure. I look, a bad game for Waddle at this point, you feel like is probably going to be like 6 catches for like the 50 yards, right? Like, but in PPR, that's going to be pretty valuable. And Williams, it's more questionable. Tony got banged up at the end of that game, and again, he did have the 12 targets, 7 catches type of game. But no, it's Waddle for me in PPR, and it's Barkley over Wilson. I'm assuming Elijah Mitchell right now. I'm ranking him as if he's going to be back anyway. But I would start Barkley here regardless.
Yeah, I would agree with that. You got to start Barkley. I'm fascinated to see what the Giants' offense looks like this week against an Eagles team in their division that's kind of rolling right now. Let's go to Anthony here. Anthony says, Diggs, McLaurin, or Elijah Moore? Sit one. Diggs and McLaurin been inconsistent all year, correct, but Elijah Moore, now we have the conundrum here, Dan. I mean, you can't sit Diggs. I don't care what anybody, and I don't think you could sit McLaurin against the Seattle Seahawks. I think you got to sit Moore here and just play the averages, right?
As much as people are going to continue to yell at me by telling them to sit Elijah Moore, which has happened like the last couple of weeks, we're not in the same stratosphere here. Like, I know Diggs is going to get Lattimore. It doesn't matter. You're going to start Diggs.
Let me tell you, Lattimore hasn't been great lately. Another thing we talked about, and this is why the IDP show is important, even if you don't play IDP, because we talked about Lattimore last night and said, you know what, if anybody's lost a step so far of guys we've seen, we feel like it's Lattimore. And all of a sudden, that's something that happens with these corners. And all of a sudden, when that happens, you see teams starting to go at them. And if you look at what's going on there for this team this year. I mean, I don't know, man.
Yeah, but either way, I mean, you're starting Diggs, obviously, McLaurin. Joe, let's hit some Thanksgiving. There's a lot of Thanksgiving stuff going on right now, right? Like I'm getting a lot of people on Twitter who are asking me all about like what we do with what happens if Mark Ingram plays, what happens if he doesn't. See if there are any questions about that, because I know people are jonesing for some Thanksgiving stuff.
I will. I'm just kind of going through the grouping
scroll it
here.
down. Scroll it down. Hold on, here, ready? I'll find
there's
something.
Like
we could
thousands of them. So I mean,
thousands of questions.
It's like thousands of questions.
Hold on. All right. How about? Okay, hold on.
So you're cherry picking on Thanksgiving.
I'm looking. I want some. People need to make the start. Sunday starts at decision we can ask, but we have time for that. People who are making that choice. There, I put that up. Ryan Heckman. How about we'll start with you, Joe? Would you start today, Darnell Mooney or Miles Sanders with no Jordan Howard?
Is 100% Darnell Mooney. I mean, I do not trust Miles Sanders at all. I have no idea what that Eagles backfield is going to be. Mooney's healthy enough to go against Detroit. I'm going with Mooney. Where are you going?
I am going with Mooney as well. I will say it's not 100%. It is 90% there that we will go with. So, but I agree with you there. It is Mooney. This has to be the spot, right? This has to be like wide receiver.
Mooney's been good the last couple weeks. So, I mean, no matter who's been playing quarterback. So I'm not even hesitating on that one. Yeah. And going back to Elijah Moore real fast.
Yeah, sure.
I'm on the opposite end of you with Elijah Moore the last few weeks, where I've been starting him everywhere and telling everyone to start him. And I'm the guy pumping the brakes right now because of Wilson, because I haven't seen Wilson look as comfortable throwing the football in the NFL as ironically you've seen like White and Johnson and Flacco these last few weeks. So it's very difficult to understand. And the only thing we could take away from Zach Wilson in the time that we saw him is he seems to have a little bit of a tunnel vision for one wide receiver, whether it be Corey Davis one week or a Jameson Crowder one week.
Yep.
And that's not a good thing for Moore. You need somebody who's going to spread the ball around because Moore's not on the field all the time.
Yeah, so I'm going to say this as much as I'm saying bench Moore in these situations, because we're talking about Terry McLaurin, we're talking about Diggs. I do have Moore ranked as the 29th wide receiver this week. So that's a start for sure. That's somebody you start in 3 wide receiver leagues, but it's a tier, we're a tier down right now from these guys. So
Matt Flannelly has a question for us. Matt Flannelly. Hello, Matt. Wilson Jr. or Cooks in a flex? Which one do you want? Happy Thanksgiving there.
So if Mitchell's out, it's Wilson. But if Mitchell's in, then it's Cooks. Like, pretty easy for me. What about you? I mean, you're not.
I think it's Cooks either way for me, to tell you the truth.
Over Wilson. I mean, Wilson was a Jimmy Garoppolo idiotic miss you wide open in the end zone from
Yeah, it
having like
was.
a great game and totally justifying the way Pat and I ranked him. But I just think
I'm
that
taking
with
Brandon
20
Cooks
touchdowns,
against the worst pass defense in the league.
best, you mean best. All
Well,
right,
the
I'm
best
pulling
for
up a question.
fantasy.
Ready?
Okay, go
Dave
ahead.
LeBlanc, with Kamara out, would you start Gaskin or Pollard? A lot of questions on Pollard here, Joe, because the Raiders' run defense bleeds points, and you've got a lot of running backs coming in there in Miami. So, what do you think in half PPR, Gaskin or Tony Pollard?
I have zero faith in Myles Gaskin. I have them ranked back to back, so I am no help
Ooh,
here in this one. I actually have Gaskin ranked at 26 and Pollard ranked at 27. So I guess that means I'm starting Gaskin, but I'm not happy about it, Dan. I'm really not. I mean, I hate this. I'm going to just fill myself with stuffing and wine and just kind of hope for the best if that's what's going on here. What are your thoughts?
don't whine. I am going with Gaskin, and I feel disgusting about it. It's a very tough matchup, but Pollard, look, could be a great game for Pollard. But we obviously need we need Zeke to probably not take his normal load, and he is off the injury report somehow, for what it's worth. So I lean Gaskin, but I feel very uncomfortable about it. So that's where I'll go. You want me to keep going? I got a lot of Thanksgiving questions.
Yeah,
Joe.
sure. I mean, yeah, I just got
I'm all
editor
over
in
it.
chiefed right now. Go ahead.
No, you can do it. I'm just
No,
saying
I
this.
believe me. I would rather just sit here.
You sit there and you just be you. Okay, full PPR, CD Lamb or Deontay Johnson, Joey, assuming Lamb plays, of course.
Well, assuming Lamb plays, I still think it's Deontay Johnson, and the reason is there is a script you can write where the Dallas Cowboys run the football all the time, and on top of that, how healthy is CD Lamb? And if he gets dinged again, then what happens? And Deontay Johnson's volume has just been incredible. I just think that I'm in a scenario here where I'm not going to push the envelope because we're talking about two players who are relatively close in fantasy, especially in the full PPR. Deontay Johnson gets 75 targets a game, for God's sake. So for me, I'm going to go with DJ, and I'm not going to take the risk of Lamb. And I know some people just want to have a player who's playing in their lineup on Thanksgiving, but Dan, that's not a good enough reason for me.
Yeah, I definitely have Deontay higher, like significant. I have Deontay 8th. I'm a huge Deontay Johnson fan. So again, he's got 13 targets, like 4 of his last 5 games. You just can't get away from that. From Tom McCarthy, happy American Thanksgiving from Canada. Thank you so much. Would you start Gallup today over Ayuk in a standard league? Joe, does this depend on whether or not CeeDee Lamb is active for you, or either way?
Well, first of all, Tom, you've already used up your Thanksgiving in October, but thank you very much for the Thanksgiving. But Chris Meany used to tell me, he's like, I love American Thanksgiving because I get the whole day off and I don't have to do anything except watch 3 football games. It's a beautiful thing to be Canadian and enjoy NFL. For this one right here, I lean towards Gallup here. Either way, because I think the scenario that I'm writing is this: if Gallup is the one because CeeDee Lamb is out, that's a good thing.
Clear.
More target volume. If he's not, he gets the easier corner matchup. That's not a bad thing either. Ayuk has been much better, but I'm gonna put my faith in Dak Prescott in the Cowboys still, regardless of their awful performance last week. So yeah, I would still go Gallup, but it is close for sure. How about you, Dan?
I'm ranking it right now as if CeeDee Lamb is going to play, and I have Gallup 2 spots higher than Ayuk. So I do start him. I do start him regardless. How about from El Masono, Tony Pollard or Nyheim Hines, Joe?
Tony Pollard for me.
Not close for me.
Not close. Yeah,
Nyheim
Hines. I think we can put that to bed now. All
right,
it's Jonathan Taylor's world.
Devin Lawrence, Hollywood Brown, who returned to practice, Darnell Mooney, or Michael Gallup. Only one of these guys can start for you, Joe. He has Gallup in, but he's not sure if he should wait.
I think Marquise Brown has somehow earned my respect this year. I never thought that was going to happen, but he's been excellent. And in terms of the matchup as well, I mean, look, I know Cleveland's a pretty good defense, but at the same time, I think with a healthy Lamar Jackson, I would go with Marquise Brown. Dan, how about you?
This is so close for me. And the problem is, if CeeDee Lamb was out, if we get that before the Lions game, then I would start Gallup over this, because I think if he's the number 1, he's got to go. But I do have Darnell Mooney slightly 1 spot higher than Hollywood Brown right now in this game. So that's how I would go. Gallup actually the lowest of the 3. So if you don't want to start Darnell Mooney, then I would wait and start Hollywood Brown personally. That's where
Marquise Brown is wide receiver 14 on the year. I think we need to start giving him some more respect.
He missed the game too, man.
He missed the game, right?
He missed the game, yeah. He's been great, absolutely. All right, how about this one, Joe, from Gage Gibson? Dylan, Thielen, Mooney, or Gallup at the flex? I already said I have Mooney higher than Gallup unless CeeDee Lamb misses this game. Little tough with A.J. Dillon, considering we're up in the air right now with Aaron Jones, Joe, and Adam Thielen just catches touchdowns. What do you think?
Well, look, if Dylan's got the backfield to himself, the answer's Dylan. I mean, I can't imagine Aaron Jones,
Yep.
being ready for this game. So I would absolutely go to Dylan. And if Dylan all of a sudden had a partner again in Aaron Jones, then I think you're looking around, and I want to play the total of one of these games. And to me, the total to play this week is that Minnesota-San Francisco game. So actually, Thielen becomes really intriguing to me because I think he's got a touchdown in him this week. How about you, Dan?
I think this is very clear that you don't start Mooney or Gallup today because your worst case scenario is
It's
you
Thielen,
can start
right.
Thielen or Dillon. That's a good backup plan. And I agree with you. If Jones is out, which I expect, by the way, I get that he returned to practice, but watching that, I wasn't like, oh boy, he's back. The Packers are notoriously safe with injuries. I think he's got the bye next week. Can't imagine he suits up. And it's Dillon for me. So I would wait here. How about Tyrone, pick 2 for the flex in full PPR, Joe? CeeDee Lamb, obviously, assuming he plays. A.J. Brown, assuming he plays. Cordero Patterson, assuming he plays. Tony Jones Jr. and Hunter Renfrow. So a lot of let's assume everybody plays, Joe. What do you got?
Ooh, I want Hunter Renfrow, Mr. Teacher, because he is going to play. So give me Hunter Renfrow first and foremost. Now, assuming everybody plays, CeeDee Lamb would be next for me. And that's, so you'll have that. So if all of a sudden, CeeDee Lamb is out for today, then you play Renfrow. I'm not playing Tony Jones. I would hope for Cordero Patterson to be back because I know he's kind of pushing to be back on Thursday last week. I would imagine he's back by now. If he's not, that's bad news. But I got zero faith right now in that Tennessee Titans D, man. Offense, excuse me. I got zero faith with his health in A.J. Brown, with Tannehill, with that secondary. I am out for A.J. Brown, man. How about you?
I'm with you, my friend. I'm ranking him as if he's going to start in this game, and he's like,
how optimistic, how un-Dan Harris-like of you.
AJ Brown has burned me several times. It's very difficult. It's very difficult right now. I will say this: if these are actually your only options, like you can't pick up anybody off the waiver wire that's even semblance, like you have to start Hunter Renfrow, Joe. You're right because he may be the only guy who goes right now. Now Tony Jones, even if what would you do, Joe? Because there's not a lot of optimism right now with Mark Ingram. I mean, there was a report this morning from Rappaport that it's a quote uphill battle, which I know from our news desk. Shout out to our news desk and the Fantasy Pros news app. That it's an uphill battle for him to play. But I don't want to start Tony Jones Jr. even if Ingram is out in this game, right? Like I feel like I'll have him ranked as maybe a flex. But what do you do if Ingram is out here with Tony Jones?
Look, Tony Jones becomes a flex in a deeper league or a desperate situation, but not over any of these guys who have been, big time wide receivers in fantasy this year. I can't take a guy off the scrap heap, throw him in there, and he hasn't played in a couple weeks. All of a sudden, I think he's going to be an RB1 this week, and he very well might be. It could be the story of Thanksgiving. We could all go back, oh, what a wonderful time, Tony Jones. What a great story. Ha, ha, ha. Remember that Tony Jones Thanksgiving? But you know what? I'm not going to let my fantasy team live and die on that. No way. So give me the elite talent for sure. And Patterson's been incredible this year.
Well, if
Patterson against Jacksonville, for God's sakes.
We don't know that he's going is the problem.
I'm telling him to go.
All right, Joe's telling him to go, then you do that. So bottom line is this: if CeeDee Lamb starts, you put him in your lineup for sure in this one. And then I'd probably just wait for Cordero Patterson because, like you, Joe, I'm pretty optimistic he's going to go here and he's up. But if today's reports, for example, let's see what it says. If anything comes out, then I would just go with Renfrow there. Joe, Lockett from the Lorax 1122. Take care of your environment. Lockett or Gallup, Joe, in this one.
I'm going to go with Gallup just because I don't like what I've seen out of Russell Wilson so far. I'm sure it'll get better this week, on Monday. But at the same time, I think I'm going to try to go with Gallup here in this contest against Vegas. How about you, Dan?
I do think that if oh boy, sorry, kids are yelling. I think if CeeDee Lamb starts, I'm going to go with Lockett. Now, I realize that Lockett is hit or miss, of course. But it's not like Gallup has blown up. Even last game against the Chiefs when CeeDee Lamb went down and everything, he got the targets, but he didn't go crazy with both of them there in a game that I think that the Cowboys might run a ton. I would lean Lockett against Washington because I think that's a pretty good matchup for a get-right spot for Wilson. But I wouldn't fault anybody for going the other way. I found
a Thanksgiving one.
There you go. Here
you go. I found a Thanksgiving one from Samantha Weinberg. Samantha wants to know, first of all, she says, Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving,
Samantha. To you, Samantha. All right, Hawkinson or Freiermuth, half PPR. Now, you're getting Goff back, so I can understand wanting to go to the Hawkinson well, but I still love toe tap Pat. I mean, for me, on the half PPR, I lean towards the touchdown equity, and I feel like Pat Freiermuth has shown you that the last few weeks at tight end, whereas Hawkinson, that Detroit offense, is still a little sputtering. This is very close. I understand why. I think the safer play is probably Hawkinson, but I want to play Freiermuth for the upside here, Dan. At tight end, I want upside, and that's where I'm going to go. But Dan, I could tell from your face, I feel like you disagree.
Well, I have Hawkinson ranked 2 spots higher at 9 versus 11, but it hurts my heart because I love Freiermuth so much, right? I really do. But I do have Hawkinson higher here, and I would start him in a game where
I have them 8 and 9. Now I have Hawkinson ranked higher too, but it's the same logic of Hawkinson's safer. So you look at the rest of your lineup basically and say, do I just need some safe floor points because I'm worried about my RB2, I'm worried about my wide receiver 3. If you like the rest of your lineup, then play Patty. And let's go. Let's have some fun. And let's bury our opponent on the holidays. Yeah, that's what I want to do.
It's hard to avoid all the targets and the touchdown equity that he gets, but I'm still going Hawkinson. Joe, we've got this one we're getting a lot, actually. Did they already answer Monty versus Zeke? People are making this decision of Monty versus Zeke. And the reason I actually was hoping we would get this question, we're getting it a few times, is because right before we went on, Joe, I had Zeke ranked 1 spot ahead of Monty. And I tried to say, I know I'm going to get this question. How am I going to justify it? And then I switched them. And I said that it's 7 and 8 for me. So it's scoop of, same thing. 6 and 1, half a dozen of the other. But I did move Monty 1 spot ahead of Zeke just because Zeke leaves every game with a minor injury. And, Monty smashed in the spot against the Lions last time. So if you have to choose, I guess I'd go Monty here over it. What do you think?
I'm gonna go Ezekiel Elliott still.
Okay,
it's Thanksgiving.
You were the Zeke hater, Joe, in the draft season.
Well, because I did not think Zeke was a top 5 overall pick, but he has. I mean, look, he's RB. What is he? RB 8 on the year, so he's proven me wrong. So I'll take the L on that one. I'm still terrified, and we'll see what happens in the last 6 weeks of the season. But it was the breakdown that I was worried about, and you see that in those glances. But I think you still got to put. And I have them Ezekiel Elliott 8, and I have Montgomery 10. So I mean, it's very close there. But I think you got.
Well, then I'll reassess right after this. But right now, I do have Montgomery.
By the way, Allen Robinson not warming up for the game. So in case you're worried about Allen Robinson, he's out.
How about this one, Joey? Knox, Dawson Knox coming off the big game, plays tonight. Or Higbee, who, is just kind of there, right? Like, easy. Never exciting. Oh, easy.
Dawson Knox, throw up the X.
Oh, okay.
Dawson Knox, let's go. How about for you? Tyler Higbee? I mean, that's not exciting anymore, right?
Okay, first of all.
I got a Thanksgiving one. Happy Turkey Day. PPR Pittman or Lamb?
What, you didn't even let me answer.
It's Knox. Okay. Is it anybody but Knox? Come on, bro.
It's Knox. It's Knox. Okay, not by as big amount as you think. Okay, I will go Pittman or Lamb. If Lamb starts, I'm going Lamb. Like that's just what it is in this matchup. And again, I love Michael Pittman Jr. and it's a good matchup, but he does like 5 or 6 targets every game. I'll go with Lamb here. How about you?
I'm going to go with a healthy Pittman against Tampa secondary.
Woo!
I'm going to go with that route.
Where do you have Lamb ranked? I don't know if you've ranked him as if he starts this week.
Well, that was the whole thing. I was waiting till this morning to give that final thing. Right now, CD, where are you? I don't know. I'm looking for Pittman right now too. Pittman I've got at 11. So Lamb I must have right around there too. Why don't I have him in there? I don't know. I don't see him right now. Hold on. Get up another question here while I keep looking. Yes, I know why. Because last week, for some reason, he's not in my rankings. I don't know why that happened. But CeeDee Lamb, I'm going to rank him live right after this next question. So go ahead with another question. I'll rank him.
Very good. Joe, a professional human, did not have him.
I don't know how that happened, but
hold on. We're getting reports from the comments here, which is I think somebody's saying that Jay Glazer saying that Lamb is out. Saying that Lamb is out.
That's why I didn't have him in my rankings.
Yeah, you're so smart. Hold on, daughter coming in here. Thanksgiving daughter here. Put this in your ear so you can hear what Joe says. Here, you don't want to talk? Oh, you just want to say hello?
I don't.
Sorry, everything is fine.
That's
guys.
okay. I wouldn't want to talk to me either.
Do you want to
Happy Thanksgiving?
Say happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving.
Sorry, you don't have to talk, sweetheart. That's my daughter Sophie. Everyone, the light of my life. So very dramatic. Certainly coming in here. I don't know. You're done? Okay. Thank you for coming to my show. Goodbye, darling.
Are you just? But you like set up? Imagine you're set up in the middle of your living room or something. There's this fancy backdrop. There's a chair and Dan Harris.
My office, as everyone knows or should know, because the garage door is above our garage.
Right.
And so they used to have this as their playroom, and they still think it's their playroom. So they come in. They also think that I am famous. So they think if they get on camera that they're famous.
That's not true.
That is far from the truth. However, we do have almost 1,000 people joining us here on Thanksgiving morning.
That's
I hope
beautiful.
people like this live stream. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's an easy way to support us. And we love you guys. So we're glad to be here with you.
Also,
so,
Dan,
right.
you know what you should throw out there too?
What?
For everybody else who's sitting around bored today, don't forget about subscribing to Betting Pros, the other YouTube channel, because I'll tell you what, everybody, if you're trying to put together wagers, Dan and I went through a bunch of stuff about the Thanksgiving games earlier in the week. You can watch that in 5 minutes and then go ahead and put a little 3-game parlay together on Thanksgiving and hang out and watch that too. But you can only do that over at Betting Pros, so subscribe there too, because it's a lot of cool content and all the college football rivalry games Bogman and I went through last night on a show. So that's going to be up there as well. That pod was released last night.
P.S. Okay. We are giving away a signed Saquon Barkley helmet just for subscribing to the Betting Pros YouTube channel. You don't even have to watch if you don't want to watch. All right. I don't even care. All right. Just subscribe. Costs nothing. BetYouTube.com.
Well, I mean, Saquon doesn't use his helmet very often, so he might as well. He has extra
hit the subscribe button and then go to bettingpros.com/helmet. That's it. Saquon Barkley, just for subscribing. That's all you have to do. Okay, Joe, who do you like more, Miles Sanders or Josh Jacobs?
God, this is tough because you know how much I hate Jacobs. I'm still going to go with Jacobs here. Oh, yes. I just don't trust the Eagles right now. I have no idea what's going to Boston Scott's there and all that stuff. I think it's going to be Sanders, but you know what? I'm just going to take my boring 50 yards rushing from Josh Jacobs and get the hell out of there.
Yep. I've got to do this. Okay. All right. I'm going to get this guy because Reseller Jackpot, I don't know if he's with you. Is he constantly
friend of the show? Friend of the stages. As was Tyrone and a couple other people.
Tyrone as well. Yes. Again, FantasyPros.com/chat. We have like radio shows all the time. Reseller Jackpot. Thanks for joining us. Happy Turkey Day to you. Pass on Mark Ingram for Javonte Williams or Elijah Mitchell. So Joe, let's assume Mark Ingram goes, obviously, tonight. What do you think here about Javonte Williams or Elijah Mitchell?
If Mitchell's playing, the full workload is very tempting. I mean, Mitchell's dropped a couple hundred spots there. And that, I told you, I think that game against the Vikings is not going to disappoint. But Javonte Williams, if you have to, if Eli Mitchell, like if you're waiting and Ingram doesn't play or just don't want to play him because of the injury, which I would recommend just not even thinking about Ingram, I would go with Javonte Williams and play him against the Chargers, who give up more rushing yards than anybody else on the planet. And yes, he's capped to a certain extent because of Melvin Ingram. But Dan, I'll still play the odds there with Williams if I have to, if I lose out on Elijah Mitchell too. But Mitchell is my one, and the pivot is Williams, which isn't terrible at all.
Joseph, which I don't think is your real name, I agree with your analysis entirely. I think you pass on Ingram here, even if he goes. You wait on Mitchell, but if not, Javonte Williams is an absolutely fine consolation prize. So I think you can go with that. Rick R., please, daughter, have Dan focus on this question. Happy Bar. You mentioned my daughter, you get the question. There you go. Mooney, Pollard, Waddle, pick one. Ooh, Joe, what do you think here?
Waddle, next.
I think, let me just double check that I have it right this way. Yeah, I'm going Mooney. All right, out my God.
What more does Jalen Waddle have to do for you people? Come on, guys.
4 touchdowns. I know he had the rushing touchdown.
I don't care what his A-dot is. All I know is that guy's got 93 targets this year. You're telling me that you're going to pass on 93 targets for Darnell Mooney?
Yeah. 16 targets last week. Extrapolate that. 745 targets per year.
Can we get shirts made up that say extrapolate that? Because I love
By the way, fun stuff because of the 40-year-old virgin. Extrapolate that was just a random line thrown in. That was the name of one of my fantasy teams that did, in fact, win a championship. So let's go there. Okay, Joe, I've got a lot of questions about this. Okay, I can't even find where it was, but I have seen it. Cole Kmet or Gerald Everett, because of all the talk of we need to get Gerald Everett involved right now. So would you start Cole Kmet or Gerald Everett?
You know, Bogman was talking last night about Gerald Everett, but I can't get there. I'll take my chances with Cole Kmet. That's what I would do.
Yeah, I agree. And, I don't really put in too much stock as to, whatever Pete Carroll says, because he's great.
He's a filthy liar. That's why.
All right, Mooney or Pittman? We've talked about it, I think, Joe, but what do you think?
Still Pittman for me.
It is Pittman for me as well. Dawson Knox here from King Jack or Noah Fan PPR League. By the way, I will say very quickly, Ed Werder is reporting right now that land status is uncertain. So people in our chat is saying that Jay Glazer said he's going to be out, saying it's uncertain. I would make other arrangements for him, but go ahead.
Jay Glazer typically gets it right.
Jay Glazer's got it right.
I mean, I might be considered the Jay Glazer of fantasy sports. The way, lately I've been dropping news and stuff like that on you, Dan. But have you ever remembered Jay Glazer getting something like really wrong like that?
No. He has. Again, I haven't seen that. It hasn't come across my wire or anything like that. So I haven't seen it. But anyway, Joe, Dawson Knox or Noah Fant PPR?
Still Dawson Knox. And for me, it's not that Fanta's a bad play, but I just think in this game in particular against New Orleans, it's a good matchup there. I think the touchdown equity is really good. And
Yep.
Dawson Knox had a nice game last week, despite the Bills not having a nice game overall. So give me Knox in this one.
Joey P, once again, absolutely correct answer. How about this guy? By the way, Nolan, I would have seen your question anyway. You didn't have to ask it 17 times in a row, but I do appreciate your dedication, and we're right here for you. Where does Cedric Wilson move out there? It's fine. I know people are sort of like, whatever. He asked the same question a million times. I saw it the first time, my friend. We were going to get to it because it's a Turkey Day question. I promise you. Thank you for joining us here, and I assume for liking this video, for answering your question. Joe, Cedric Wilson, let's assume, obviously, now that Lamb is out. What do we think?
Loud noises! That's what I think. Cedric Wilson, I think, has flex wide receiver appeal. It's kind of a dart throw, but I think it's a dart throw we're taking because you've seen Cedric Wilson have some big catches with Dak Prescott when you had CeeDee Lamb out, or when you had Amari Cooper banged up, or Michael Gallup was out. So I'm not like crazy to start him. I wouldn't be starting him like over Van Jefferson or Jacoby Myers or those guys, but I think Cedric Wilson's somewhere in that range for me that you can have that conversation. But damn, like, if I gave you, let's say, those guys, let's say, take them apart here, Jacoby Myers or Wilson, who would you rather take?
Oh, that's a great one, Joey. I'm trying to see where I have Myers. I have Myers ranked 40th. Oh, that's like the range, man. Like that's exactly where it is with him against Tennessee. I think I'd go Wilson. And again, I was the guy who was, against everybody else basically being like, pick up Wilson. You were, I think, a little bit there with me, but Yates was like, no, whatever, get rid of this.
Well, Wilson's worth picking up because if,
but it's for this game.
It's for this game.
Yeah.
But it's also this game in the circumstances that you would need somebody potentially. But looking around too, I don't even know if he's as good as a Laviska Shenault this week. Like if he's closer into that range where it's like you roll the dice and you see. And it's not a terrible dice roll.
By the way, wide receiver 40 Myers, wide receiver 42 for Shenault. For me, that's the range. He's there in that spot. And Joe, it's really
I've got him
easy.
a little lower still, but he's at 47 for me right now.
So after this, I'm gonna have like 3 minutes to reassess. And at Thanksgiving dinner, when I'm with my wife's family, I'm going to basically be like, let me quickly. I'm taking my darn computer right now because that's how serious I am about these
dedicated.
rankings.
I hope people appreciate you. I really do.
It just doesn't come along very much. Allen Robinson officially inactive, as are Damian Williams. Picks. So we got a lot of inactives going on right now. Good day for DeAndre Swift.
I had one. I don't know where the other one went to. I had this Antoine Lahiro, and by the way, you're my Lahiro, Dan. I just want you to know. Tony Jones or Devontae Smith, half point PPR. I still go with Smith here, Dan. How about you?
I'm assuming for purposes of this question that Mark Ingram is out because it's not close if Mark Ingram is in. But even if he's out, I don't know what we're going to see here from this New Orleans offense. So I would go with Devontae Smith as well for you. Here's my question. Ian Schaffler, pick 2, 12-team PPR. Mike Williams, Renfro, or Gallup?
Pick 2. I'm going to definitely go with Renfro. And the second one is all about needs of your roster. Williams definitely has more upside potential. I still think that because you see it on a daily basis that one time he catches the football. Gallup, I think, is a little bit safer this week, especially with, where things are trending. But I think it would be Renfro and Gallup for safety, Renfro and Williams for upside. Dan, what do you think?
I am going Gallup here as my number 1, and especially with Lamb out for sure. After that, I'll probably go Williams. I like Renfro a lot, but without them stretching the field, man, like they're really limiting his upside. They're shading extra attention.
Yeah, but the corners are not good. With
I know, but Bryan Edwards
Trayvon Diggs and Brown are not.
But the bottom line is this, man: if you double Waller and you double Renfro, and you're like, go ahead. See what we can do. Bryan Edwards is not getting targets. And,
but the difference with the Cowboys defense, and we'll talk a little defense for a second here because I love me some D. The difference is you have a sideline to sideline linebacker like Micah Parsons. Not every team has that. So if Waller's out there in the middle of the field, Micah Parsons can actually keep pace with him. There's not a lot of linebackers in this league that can. So that's the one thing where all of a sudden you are going to probably have Parsons, I would say, in that conversation with Waller quite a bit today.
Yeah, Joe, I'm getting a lot of questions. I'm not even going to put them up because there's a bunch of different ones about Dak. People seem to be a little worried about Dak after this last one. And again, if we do have no CeeDee Lamb, the weapons are out there. Where do you have Dak ranked this week here? Because people are asking like Taylor Heineke versus
no, stop.
Like we're not in the same stratosphere, right?
This is where in the live stream I go, bro.
Do you do that every
Bro.
live stream?
Only when I get stupid questions. And
Okay.
then this is a stupid question because Dak is still a top 10 quarterback this week. Even if you want to put him all the way at 10, he's still a top 10 quarterback this week. You're in that conversation. No, I'm not starting Taylor Heineke over him. I drafted Dak Prescott because of how good he is. And yes, great players have bad games. I mean, how many bad games have Patrick Mahomes had? Doesn't mean we start taking Patrick Mahomes out of lineups. You just can't do it. It's not the way you're supposed to play fantasy football. So I think this is a terrible mistake. If you want to make a case, let's say you've got Stafford or Aaron Rodgers or Joe Burrow, any of those guys you also have for some bizarre reason on your team, you want to play them over Dak, okay, fine. But I'm not putting, Carson Wentz over him. I'm not going to put Roethlisberger or Taylor or any of the other guys like Heineke. No.
I like it. I'm with you as well. We're not in the same stratosphere. Brandon, 11. Pick 2, Pollard, Javonte Williams, or Miles Sanders. Let's assume it's half PPR, Joe. I mean, we don't have the what it is. What do you think here?
Dan, I'm lost on this one. Williams is the one I want the most. So I'm going to pick Williams. I'll let you pick the second one.
You're big on Williams, huh, this week here?
Oh, man, he's so good. And against the Chargers, who just never stack the box, and they just say, come run at me, and that's all Denver wants to do. And I know Gordon's there, but you know what? It's not like any of these guys have the backfield completely to themselves anyway. I mean, if Miles Sanders puts another ball on the ground, you're going to see a ton of Boston Scott, and that scares the bejesus out of me, Dan. Like, I am really concerned about that, and that's something I got to take into account, especially because out of the rest of these guys, I mean, Pollard and Williams is where I'm leaning, but if you want to go Sanders and Williams, I'm okay. Williams is the guy that I want to lock in. I'll let you pick the other one because really, to me, this is too close.
Thank you, Joe, for
You're
that
welcome.
gracious
it's very
referral. I do have actually Miles Sanders as the highest, so I would start Miles Sanders, and I get it where we're worried about there. But also, I would say that I do agree with you there, that I do have Williams higher than Pollard. So that's where I'm going as well. Carlos Valdez.
Scantling.
Yeah, whatever. Start Ingram or Miles Sanders, Schultz or Gronkowski, Lockett or Elijah Moore. Now, the last one is something that doesn't involve today. But all right, let's start with Ingram or Miles Sanders. And obviously, we assume Ingram's going to go here. So go ahead. What would you do?
This is great. I love all caps. I'm a big fan. Miles Sanders. You finally found somebody I want to start Miles Sanders over. You found Mark Ingram. There you go. Yeah. Good job. Gronk over Schultz. And Lockett over Elijah Moore, and it hurts my soul. I'm so sad about that.
I agree that I actually have Schultz higher than Gronk because I do think if Lamb is out, which I'm now sort of expecting at this point, it's Gallup and it's Schultz. Little Cedric Wilson thrown in. Schultz is going to get 8-9 targets. I will go with that over Gronk personally. I agree if Ingram is go, but this is something where not just you're active, man. I need a Jay Glazer report that says he feels 100% and is ready to go and go out there. Then I'd move him ahead of Sanders. But I have a little more faith in Sanders than you do, I think, this week, Joe. Mainly because of the lack of Jordan Howard. And then I agree with you, Tyler Lockett over Elijah Moore. You want the next question? You want me to get it?
Oh, I want it.
Go for it.
Oh no, I thought you were going to give me that. I got it. Here you go. Here you go. This has got a ton of guys for Thanksgiving in it. Eric Luna wants to know: Emmanuel Sanders, Cedric Wilson, or Chase Claypool? Dan, you are the president of the Emmanuel Sanders fan club, so I can only assume where you're going with this, or am I wrong?
We have had a deep dip in membership here of the Emmanuel Sanders. And unfortunately, actually, I left the fan club 3 weeks ago at this point. I will go with Chase Claypool over him. I still think I would start Sanders over Cedric Wilson. So if you have to make that choice with both of them, I would go Claypool and Sanders. But other than that, if it's one, it's Claypool for me.
If it's one, it's Claypool for me as well, and it's not close. So go ahead, Dan. You pick the next one.
I'm putting this one, and I get that people are going to think this is crazy, that somebody has to ask, oh, this one's actually different. I'll ask 2 of these. Kalel Siegel said, who are you starting, Josh Allen or Cam Newton? And Devonta Freeman or Devonta Williams. But I will say this, Joe. I'm going to assume Josh Allen is very clearly ahead of Cam Newton. But I am getting, and I don't know how this is possible, where you have to choose between these two. Would you rather start Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen today? I don't know what universe we live in where you have to bench one of these guys. If so, you should have traded one. But I guess start with that, Joe. Josh Allen or Cam Newton? Can I assume it's Josh Allen very clearly for you?
Not very clearly, but it's
Oh,
Josh Allen.
okay.
I mean, like they're right neck and neck, but you got to start Josh Allen. He's the 1-1 quarterback in fantasy, I think. But the bigger problem is Dan's right. You should absolutely be trading one of these guys, whoever
We're probably
you could
past at
trade.
that point. But
I
yeah.
guess, but with this one here, I'm not starting Cam Newton over Josh Allen, and Cam Newton is a QB1 this week. I will give you that. I have him very high in my rankings, and I hate myself for it. But Dan, Devontae Freeman or Javonte Williams, I think you got to go with Freeman here, don't you?
It's close, Joe, with this one. And funny, I was expecting you to say Williams because if
I
you've been
know.
on the, I've got to go with him.
I lean towards a touchdown equity here. That's where I keep leaning towards.
I have Williams one spot higher than Freeman. And again, this is something where check back, please, on Sunday morning. I will be at Mama Harris's house as we go on Friday, staying with
Beautiful.
the kiddies. I will still do my usual 3-hour, 4-hour, 5-hour Saturday night projection sweep, and that one could change because it's one spot, but that's what it is.
Mike,
all right, Joe, go ahead.
Williams or Darnell Mooney, a game with implications today, and that's from Jeremy. What do you think here, Dan? You want to start Darnell Mooney? I think I do. I think Mooney's a little safer than Williams.
The thing about Williams is absent that total breakdown in coverage at the very end of that game against the Steelers last week. He has another bad game. I mean, right? Like the 55 or whatever it was, 51-yard touchdown at the very end of that game saved him. So I hate recommending people on Thanksgiving, Joe. I hate it because it's like if they lose, then they're going to blame you immediately. And then the rest of the few days is going to be tough. But I would go with Mooney here. I feel more confident about it. So that's where I'm going. Hold on. Wait, I missed one. So I have to get this one. Here we go. I think he just wanted his question. Joe is beautiful.
Thanks,
I'm
Connor.
concerned about Connor.
Don't be concerned about Connor. Connor's spot on. Connor knows what he's talking about.
Poor judgment. Standard league, pick 2 running backs and 3 wide receivers. Patterson, who you can play at either. Fournette, Pollard, A.J. Brown, Deontay Johnson, CeeDee Lamb, Traquan Smith.
Well, I think we can all agree on Deontay Johnson, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
And you need Fournette. I think you need 2 running backs. Fournette is a start for you.
Fournette and Patterson in a perfect world is what I'd like to do.
Yes.
The problem is you have to wait then. That's the whole thing. So if you don't play Patterson, you have to play Pollard today. That becomes very tricky.
Yep.
If my record is I'm fighting for my life, I'm just going to play Pollard and not wait today. If you are 8 and whatever, then you're a 9-win team, then right now you're in good shape. Or even a 7-win team, I think I would roll the dice with Patterson because I do think he will play, but you can't afford to take a 0. And then the rest of this, you need 3 wide receivers. So DJ's 1. If CeeDee Lamb plays, it's him. Otherwise, the wide receivers get done for you. It's A.J. Brown and Traquan Smith. That's all you have left here.
If A.J. Brown plays, this is terrible. You're going to need to have some backups going right now. If CeeDee Lamb plays, and again, I do see the report now from Glazer that he's out, so assume that he's out.
That's why he wasn't on my rankings, Dan.
You're way ahead of the curve, Joe, of course. It is
actually, I think what happened was I think I took him out last night because I was like, he's not.
Yeah.
I think that's what I did, and I just forgot.
I'm going to assume that you are not a complete.
No, I had him in. I know I had him earlier in the week, and I think literally yesterday I'm looking at all the slate, and I'm like, and I heard the concussion protocol stuff. I was driving in the car, and on Sirius XM they were talking about the things you had to go through, and I was like, he ain't gonna get through all that stuff by Thursday morning. So
I think it's fair. Okay, so here's what I will say with this question. With all the question marks, if you don't have any backups, I think Joe is right. I think you go into it starting Fournette and Pollard. You have to start right now. You're starting Deontay Johnson. Assume CeeDee Lamb is out. Look, A.J. Brown might be out, in which case Patterson and Traquan Smith have to be your wide receivers, which means you have to start Traquan Smith tonight. I'm not going to do that.
Patterson could be out too. You need to pick up a third body here.
Yeah, you got to pick up
Nico
somebody.
Collins is on the wire, maybe. Cedric Wilson probably on the wire.
Oh, yeah, Wilson.
MVS. Any of those guys I think you can throw out there or grab onto your team and possibly get something out. Wilson, you'd have to grab and play this week, so that would be harder to do that today. But I think Collins, MVS, looking around too, some of the names that might be available, I think that's pretty much it right now. Like those are the guys.
Right.
If someone drops Sterling Shepard and he plays, maybe.
DST master. Cowboys or Chicago DST right now.
Chicago, next.
Yeah, I agree. It's golf starting, which makes them a little less enticing for me. But
really, have you watched Jared Goff play quarterback?
I said a little, okay, a little less enticing for me, but still. And who knows? Maybe the Lions get their first win. Tim Smith, happy Thanksgiving. Gallup or Cooks in my flex. I think Joe, we can analyze it right now as if CeeDee Lamb's going to be out because we both trust Glazer here.
Yeah,
as the guy, right?
Glazer.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I think, I think everyone's a little concerned because last week they didn't see Cook's Tyrod Taylor thing happen, but I think you
Yeah.
will see it this week against the Jets. So I'm going to go back to that well here with it. I really am. It's my confidence in Cooks.
Yeah.
It's not a knock on Gallup. That's where it's coming from. How about you, Dan?
What's funny is I'm the opposite, which is I'm starting Gallup because he's basically the only guy left, but it's not a knock on Cooks, who I like in this game as well. I just think it's possible the Texans won't need to throw that much, and so it's possible they lean into the run a little bit more, even though they have no running backs, but maybe with Taylor. But either way, both guys are great starts, but without CeeDee Lamb, you got to rank Gallup as like a high-end wide receiver 2 at worst, in my opinion. So that's where I would go. Robert Coleman, Joe. Need help with my flex. PPR, pick one. Mooney, Judy, Sutton, Landry, or Odell Beckham Jr. You only get one, Joe. It's got to be between for you, Judy and Mooney, right?
Judy Mooney, my favorite book from childhood. I love Judy Mooney.
Not a real thing.
It's not.
No,
reading wasn't my strong suit.
Yeah.
For me, I think I would lean toward. I think Mooney has more touchdown equity than Judy does in this particular game this week. But in this, I assume it's a full PPR. I think I would actually still go to Mooney. I think it's just by a hair, though, Dan. I really do. I just like Mooney in this game today against Detroit.
I have to go Mooney. I get it. It makes me a little uncomfortable. But
you know what I want to do, Robert? If the trade deadline hasn't happened yet, I want to package Sutton and either Landry or Odell for somebody better than those two guys. Somebody just higher up on the trough. Anybody, if you can.
It's a little bit of a low bar there. This year, again, I love their talent, but Sutton just in that offense is just not happening. Although they did extend him.
That's the whole point. It's like I have Sutton, I have Judy. I don't want to play both of them ever. You need to unload Sutton with, again, one of those other jabronis.
Yep. Half PBR, sit 2 of these guys, Joe. You're sitting 2 of them. Keenan Allen, no. Darnell Mooney, Thielen, Waller, Gronk, or Gaskin.
It was a funny league. I don't know why we're seeing 2 of these random position things, but I'm going to say Gronk and Gaskins are the ones that I'm sitting. Dan, how about you?
I think that is correct. Yeah, I think with the question marks with Gaskin, I think that is the guy who I am sitting. This is a good one, Joe. Will tell everybody out there, if you are considering starting Derek Carr this week, I don't love him. I think I have him ranked 15th. But I am starting Derek Carr in a league. So what you can do is if you are sitting there and you're like, I don't know, do I start Carr? I can say, you know what? At some moment in time, when Carr throws his 3rd interception and he pulls a hammy and he's out for the rest of the game, you could say, I know Dan is sitting there with me, sharing in my misery. So don't worry about it. But how about you, Joey, from Colio 49, Russell Wilson or Derek Carr?
I'm going to go with Russell Wilson still. Washington is the cure-all for me, Dan. Whenever you need a quarterback to get right, typically it's Washington. Tom Brady's the exception. For some reason, Brady and Washington don't get along very well. It's a problem for him. But I've got to stick with Russell Wilson here one more time. And if it's not against Washington, then you can the rest of the year figure out something else. But how about you, Dan? I can't take
I'm with you. I'm with you. And especially because this isn't a great matchup for Carr. And their offense looks terrible since, without Henry Ruggs. I'm still starting him. Now, this is a question, Joe, because I actually, for G, I was faced with this exact same situation in a league in that I rostered Derek Carr as my backup to Ryan Tannehill, who I have ranked this week as 25th. So I'm not starting him. I had Carr. On the wire were Taylor Heineke, Jimmy Garoppolo. Tua wasn't there, but even Tua is not good. Joe, Carr, Heineke, Jimmy Garoppolo, or Tua this week if you have to stream. What do you think?
I have Carr ranked highest there of that group, but Garoppolo is 2 spots behind him.
Yeah.
If you're looking for upside, it's Garoppolo, which I know sounds crazy, but I just think the total in that game is going to be high. But if you want the safety, I just need a quarterback with points, I still think it's Carr, Dan. And you know what? I don't think it's because Henry Ruggs isn't there. It's because this offense doesn't have an identity, and they don't have good play calling either. There's a lot of spots where you wonder, why are they doing this in this moment here?
Yeah.
And it's that combination of spot. I think the thing is just breaking down there, and I think it's just too much mentally between the coach stuff, between the Ruggs stuff. I think it's just more of a mental thing than anything else. It's nothing. Ruggs wasn't. It's not like they lost Tyreek Hill. You know what I mean?
But it wasn't about his talent, Joe. It was about the fact that his threat of going deep gave some, it alleviated some pressure on the underneath routes for Waller.
It did, but you know what? You know what else will alleviate that? How about you run the ball 20 times with Josh Jacobs once in a while and see what happens? That's the other thing, too. It's they don't get that guy enough carries. And you know what? That makes the defense tired trying to stop a guy 20 times. But alas, they don't.
So here's my answer to this question, okay? And I'm just going to be transparent with you, and here's a peek behind the curtain. I don't always start exactly the guys, depending on my situation, as I have it ranked. I have Taylor Heineke ranked 14th, Derek Carr ranked 15th, Jimmy ranked 17th, Tua ranked 20th. So I'm not considering Tua in this match.
Yeah, Tua is not in this conversation.
I did not swap out Derek Carr for Taylor Heineke when I could have in this one. I'm starting Carr. I think Heineke most likely will finish. Like if I had to bet on somebody to finish with the highest point total, I think it would be Heineke against Seattle. But I also think that the chances of Heineke going absolutely terrible in this game outweigh, for me in my situation, what I think is Derek Carr giving me at least kind of a decent floor in this game. So I have personally chosen to go with Carr, but I admit to you that I have Taylor Heineke ranked one spot higher right now in this game. So that's it for me. Joe, Ayuk from Beastmaster. Ayuk or Hunter Renfrow, I assume that is, in half PPR. Joe, you love Hunter
Ayuk,
Renfrow more than I love my blankie.
No, I
What
love
do you
Hunter
got?
Renfrow, except I like the total in this game. I'm gonna be a broken record here. I'm going with San Francisco's game, so give me Ayuk in this one.
Yeah, I have Ayuk a couple spots higher here as well, Joe. So that's where I'm going with that. How about, we haven't talked about Cole Beasley, Joe. He's off the injury report, apparently. Obviously, it's a pretty good matchup here, at least against PJ Williams. So maybe he can exploit it. Rashad Bateman here, assuming, again, that Lamar is fine and we've got Hollywood Brown back, or Cole Beasley today.
Bateman or the Bees?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Bateman. I just like where things are trending there with him. And if we recall, was it last year? I think it was where that Cleveland Baltimore game was like the game of the year. Remember that game going back and forth? I would love to see that because at the time the Cleveland offense was also kind of lackluster or whatever. And all of a sudden, business picked up and they're going to get Kareem Hunt back hopefully this week. And if they do, I think you're going to see that offense pick up a little bit. So for me, I'm going to go with Bateman in this game because I think it's going to be a little bit more challenge. And Beasley's just part of that mix, that clump of guys in Buffalo. It's like Diggs and the clump, and I hate the clump. Give me Bateman.
Yeah, I'm with you. I have Bateman slightly higher. How about from Jose Conejo Ingram?
Rex Burkhead
or Ty Johnson? This is a funny question. If Ingram starts, you have to start Ingram, right? But at this point, I'm a little. All right, Tom Pelissero also now reporting that CD Lamb is out for this game. So I think now we can officially take it with that and view all future questions like that. Joe, what do you think about this one? I assume it's Ingram if he starts. What about if he doesn't?
I like Ty Johnson. Let's go. Yeah. Ty Johnson. You got to run the football. They're running out of guys to do it. He can catch the football too, which is good. Check down Zach Wilson. I think we'll be able to, probably get about 4 or 5 passes his way. So yeah, I actually like Ty Johnson. If Ingram plays, it's fine to start Ingram. It's a safe play, but I'm just a little worried. If we're so anxious about this player who's not healthy, Dan, I don't feel good about playing him just because he's healthy enough to play, and healthy is not the same thing.
P.S. Forget about what Jonathan Taylor did last week. This is a tough matchup for running backs. I think they still have allowed the third fewest fantasy points to opposing running backs after giving up 5 touchdowns and 1,700 yards to Jonathan Taylor last week. Like, it's a bad matchup for him. So I'm a little worried about that. Joe, this is a good one. Tony Jones from Jimmy, if Ingram doesn't play, of course. Devontae Smith or Brandon Cooks in the flex. Good question. Way to go, Jimmy.
I like Cooks against the Jets. Jimmy knows. I like Cooks against the Jets. I do.
Yeah, I do too.
Smith isn't a bad play either if you want to go Smith if you have more confidence. But, Smith is hit and miss too. I don't think Cooks is going to be after this week. I think last week was just a wackadoo game against Tennessee. They were just saying to themselves, let's just not blow this lead. Let's sit on this lead that we have and not blow it and not try to push the ball downfield. I think against the Jets, it's going to be a lot more fast and loose, personally.
Yeah, I am with you. I'm with you there, Joe. So I will go with that as well. With Kelsey from Nate, with Kelsey on a bye, need a streamer. Is it Cole Kmet today, or is it your BFF, pretty much? Tyler Conklin going up against San Francisco.
Conklin has more touchdown equity than Kmet. So I just want, at this point, when you're splitting hairs about tight end 15, it's about touchdown equity. So give me Conklin.
I have Conklin one spot ahead. Yay! So
Yay!
That is where I am going. Okay, from all the crazy questions keep rolling in. Come in. I have somebody coming in. Oh, number 2 child coming in.
Excellent. Everybody's on the show today.
There's my guy, Will. Say happy Thanksgiving, Will.
Happy Thanksgiving.
You look very handsome right now. I'm
yes,
going
he
to
does.
be honest with you. I'm going to turn this over to Joe so he can answer a question while I talk to you for a second. Okay. Hold on, Joe. Let's find a good one here. People are just complimenting you too much because they think that's how you get your question answered right now. All right, Joe, let's go here. PPR League, Knox, Freiermuth, or Gronk, Tannehill, or Heineke. Happy Thanksgiving.
Oh my goodness. This is a very tough one for me here with these tight ends. I love all three of these tight ends. So I'm going to skip right ahead to the quarterbacks. I'm not touching Tannehill this week.
Correct.
Heineke's right there. I filibustered. I needed more
We're
time.
benching him.
We are.
I think Knox is still that guy for me.
Yeah.
Just a hair over Fryermuth. And I know Eric Ebron being out is something also that is something that's going to help Pat Fryermuth, but I think I still go with Knox here. But it's so close. Give me Knox by a hair. Dan Harris, how about you? You want to go Knox or Fryermuth or Gronk? And remember, Ebron being out does help the Fryermuth a little bit more, I think, but I still think it's Knox just by a small amount.
So I have Gronk ranked highest right now. I think you
Really?
saw a lot. Yeah, you saw that looked like a lot like the old Gronk, man, in that game. Like he was high pointing balls.
They should
getting
just
up there
keep
for-
Gronk into like a cryogenic chamber and then just take him out in week 15 and then just roll. Like that's what they should
Yeah,
do.
I think that's right. Hold on. And by the way, while we're here, because Will saw that question, I agree with you. It is Taylor Heineke, by the way, over Ryan Tannehill for sure. Like not even
Tannehill
close.
today. How could
But-
you possibly start him against that secondary this week?
I agree, especially with no wide receivers. Joe, look for another question as Will sets his lineup right now in his fantasy league for the Fantasy Pros League. Answer a
Is
question.
it Damian Harris or Mark Ingram in a standard scoring? I don't care. I'm still going Damian Harris because he's healthier than Ingram, even if Ingram plays. I still would go with Harris in this
18
contest here.
pounds.
Let's go to another one here. Let's see who we've got. Here's one from Dylan.
Joe.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys. Start 2 flexes, full PPR. Mike Williams, Darnell Mooney, Elijah Moore, or Kareem Hunt. I want to start Darnell Mooney today, and I want to start Kareem Hunt
The same thing.
later in the week.
Want that?
That's what I want to do, and I'll tell you what, if for some reason Kareem Hunt doesn't play,
Good.
then you have the pivot to Elijah Moore, and you're there anyway, you're okay. So that would be my Darnell Mooney 1, Hunt is 2. If Hunt, for some reason, doesn't play, even though he's activated, it would be Elijah Moore 3 there, because Mike Williams scares the crap out of me. Dan, how about you?
I think that's right. It's definitely Mooney today. So get him in your lineup. Then
Yes,
we have a
Mooney
little
today.
time to think about it. I want to wait on the reports for Hunt, right? It's still crazy to me that he's back because I had heard December and suddenly it's like you're activated, your practice window's activated, and oh, you're starting. Crazy for me. So I probably Hunt, but that's one where I'd wait for my rankings update then on Saturday night.
All right. You
go
want
ahead,
me to
Joe.
pull another
You
one?
got
You got it.
any
No,
How about this? Derek Carr
okay.
to Rod Taylor. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I?
Ooh, this is a good one right here.
This is another one. Joe,
I've got
where
these guys back to back.
I have it too. And again, another one where I could have hooked up Taylor. I opted for Derek Carr. I do have Taylor ranked higher.
I have Taylor ranked higher. I'm starting
do.
Tyrod Taylor. And I'm starting Tyrod Taylor because of the rushing equity, Dan. That's it.
I just think, yeah, Will is pointing out that I have Tyrod Taylor at 13 and Derek Carr at 15. So it is there.
Will, thank you for holding your father accountable. Somebody has to do it. Good job,
Will loves it. Will loves it. By the way, thank you to my guy, Connor, who thinks I'm beautiful too. That is incorrect, but I do appreciate, right?
Today you are.
All right, thanks. Nicholas, Gallup or Mooney?
Mooney, because I think there's a little tunnel vision there that's like Mooney's our wide receiver. We have no Allen Robinson. We really have no one else to throw the ball to except Mooney. Detroit secondary is not very good. I would go with Mooney. Gallup, again, there's variables, right? You could have Schultz touchdowns. It could be the Zeke day. It could be the Tony Pollard day.
He's the
it could
only
be
guy
Cedric
out there,
Wilson.
man. He's the only guy out there at this point,
Mooney,
though.
yeah.
No, not Mooney.
Mooney's the only guy out there.
Mooney too.
No, Gallup is still not the only guy out there for the Dallas Cowboys. That's the problem.
All right.
So Mooney's still for me.
I don't know, man. I'm going Gallup. All right, this is good. All right, ready, Joe? Well, whenever we meet in person, which may never happen,
someday.
Whenever we meet, if Gallup scores more points, fantasy points than Mooney today, lunch is on you. Mooney scores more, lunch is on me. Deal?
I'm sure I will remember this. Yes.
You
100%.
won't, but I remember everything. Okay, Will, you know that, right? I remember everything. No, he's shaking his head. Okay. All right. Sorry, he is going crazy. Okay. How about that? Oh, I'm sorry. Did you have a question, Joe? Did you have one up already?
No, I'm looking for one right now.
Aiden James, pick 2, half PBR, Darrell Henderson, T. Higgins, or Michael Gallup. You got 2, Joe.
Well, definitely Henderson because you want the carries there for this one. I can see going Gallup in this scenario here. I can see that, especially because Jamar Chase has been the alpha so much, and Higgins is nice, but I think you roll the dice, maybe Gallup has a little bit more touchdown equity today in the circumstances, so I'm Henderson and Gallup.
Man, you are really like poo-pooing a little bit Gallup here. Yeah, it's Gallup.
I said Henderson and Gallup. I went Gallup.
But you were like, oh, I don't know, not close.
Well, I like T. Higgins. I'm not poo-pooing the Gallup. I love the Gallup. Gallup is great.
Gallup is great.
Let's not anoint him as CD Lamb and Amari Cooper just because the other guys are out.
Will's just shaking his head. He doesn't like when I disagree with people because I'm so agreeable. All right, Aaron Lowe, pick 2, full PPR. Now we know the land is
now
out.
we're in
All
the
right.
dregs right here.
Cedric
Aaron has
Wilson,
pulled us down.
Tony
This is in the
Jones,
muck.
Alex Collins, Latavius Murray, or Tim Patrick. And I will say that starting none of these guys, not an option for you, Joe. You have to start them. What do you think? This is Will loves that. Will thinks it's a funny question. What do you think, Joe? You got to start 2.
All right, here's what I do. You ready for this? This is it. Here we go. Here's the plan. You start Cedric Wilson today,
Okay.
right? And then you wait and see how he does. If he does great, then you probably just stick with something simple like Tim Patrick, right? If Cedric Wilson bottoms out, then you roll the dice with Alex Collins or Latavius Murray or somebody like that who you think might touch the ball more. Maybe it's some kind of weird thing where you get 2 touchdowns. That's the approach I would take.
I like where your head's at,
like
Joe.
that?
Will, with these guys, who are you starting? You can say anybody. I promise you, it won't be bad.
Yeah, because they all
I don't
stink,
know.
Will.
You don't know? They all stink, so you can say anybody. Nobody?
I don't know.
He doesn't know. He refuses. Will is so scared to be wrong that he won't even go. You are. You won't even go out on a limb. But I'm telling you, there's no wrong answer right now. You got 1,000 people here are asking, okay? Okay, let's see. We got a couple more here, Joe. Let's go. I'm really starting to look for Thanksgiving questions if I can find them. Ooh. All right, you know what? Not a Thanksgiving question. Oh, no, I missed it. Sorry. Sorry, they moved very quickly.
Tease.
I am such a tease. Sorry, it was somebody from London. If you have it, Joe, sorry, you can go ahead and get some.
Oh, stop with the Dak or Newton and Dak or this guy. It's
Yeah.
Dak. Okay, stop. If it's wrong, it's wrong, but you're in for a penny, in for a pound now. Stop it.
Yeah. All right. How about this one, Joe? Scott Jankowski, full PPR, need 3, Montgomery, Swift, Patterson, or Aaron Jones or Dillon. So I guess he has both of them.
Well, it's Montgomery and Swift. You play those 2 guys today, and then you hope that Patterson gets healthy, and if not, then you play A.J. Dillon, because I don't think Aaron Jones is going to play. I think that's nonsense.
Yeah.
No.
I know. I do see that. But where'd it go? It just went up, right? We had a... Okay, here we go. Thanksgiving question from Nathan. If Ingram starts, roll with Ingram or pivot to Elijah Moore or Devontae Smith? We may have answered that one already. Sorry,
Pivot.
Pivot?
It's, what do you want, though, Smith or Moore? I think Smith still.
Yes, it is still Smith for me. It's not a huge difference here. Joe, sweet potato pie or pumpkin pie?
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm obviously both is what I'm going to answer.
Yeah.
But if I had to only have one, I'm on the pumpkin pie side, but just by a hair, man. Because I am making mashed sweet potatoes today, which are delicious. It's got brown sugar, cinnamon in there. It's delicious. So we're gonna have the mashed sweet potatoes, not the regular mashed potatoes today. But how about you, Dan? Pumpkin pie or
I'm
sweet
with
potato
you.
pie?
Yeah, I'll go a little. I love both actually. I really do.
There's
Although
gonna be
I'll
a
be
myriad
honest,
of pies at my house today. We
I
got 4 different pies.
I like a pecan pie, but that's just.
I do too, but see,
That's my
I'm on the only one who likes it, so therefore I can't get it because I just gotta sit there and eat the whole pie. So when we hang out at that lunch, we're gonna order pecan pie.
Hopefully it's on you, buddy. Okay,
Okay.
last one, Joe. Bateman, Ingram, or Miles Sanders, full PPR. Choose, assuming Ingram plays.
Bateman, Ingram, or Miles Sanders, full PPR. Full PPR. I think I have to go with Bateman here still, and you're gonna say Sanders, so we're not gonna help anybody.
You are correct, but we will help people because they can listen to you or they can listen to me. All right, Joe, it's 11:30. As my very handsome son is reminding me, there he is. It is time for us basically to go to Uncle Kevin's house.
Uncle Kevin!
Yay, Uncle Kevin! And hopefully, Joe, this is what
I'll take you. Go do your thing. Everybody have
Thanks.
a wonderful Thanksgiving. Thanks for hanging out with us for an hour. We love you all. Have a safe Thanksgiving. Have a good time. Be grateful for what you have and the players you have left. Enjoy the football, enjoy the food, and everything else here at Fantasy Pros. And if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel over at YouTube. Have a wonderful holiday, everybody. And we'll be back again Sunday to help you out with more of your questions. Later, everybody. Happy
Bye,
Thanksgiving.
guys. Happy
Goodbye
Thanksgiving.
from the Harris